What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line in the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we are back today with another episode of the Yesterday's Enterprise build series on the 1701-C. And one that I am very, very much looking forward to doing. After the decision to light the model, I have picked up all the electronics that we need to do, and I've come up with a plan. I have also watched Lou's video on this build, and I gotta say that there was a lot of things that I took from it, just basic lighting techniques and what have you. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm going to start by saying that this piece has taken some abuse. I used super glue to put this together. Gluing in me, I don't know, man. I'm kind of... I've done things. It stuck together really, really well, but what happened when I had to pull the masking compound off, I basically, like when it gets soaked off, the super glue left behind a ridge, and I could not get these pieces put back together correctly. Getting it reprimed was a pain in the ass because there was still a little bit of residue. I don't know what I did wrong with the masking compound, but whatever it was, it just kind of turned out really kind of crappy, if I'm being real. So I had to really get this soaked down. I had to really sand my pieces. I basically ruined a couple of sanding boards and just like destroyed them getting this all cleaned up and ready to go. But we are ready to go. I did get the primer put back on it, so we are ready for the Aztek Dummy. But before we can do that, however, as you see here in the image up top on Lou's instructions for the Aztek Dummy, Lou Dalmelso, make sure you check out his video. I'm going to put the link down below. You can see that he has put a little bit of channel in the pylons here, and that's to kind of give room for the electronics to get through. I'm not going to go as messy as that. No offense to Lou, but I have the ability to be a little bit more of a precise cut, I think. We'll see. Using the new Dremel tool for the first time, so we'll see. But I'm going to just cut a much more narrow channel than he provided, and we're going to start there. So what we're going to go ahead and do in this episode, it could wind up being a little bit of a long one. We'll see with after editing and all that. But basically, I'm going to cut a channel a little shorter on the bottom and a little longer on the top. Probably even equidistant. I'll probably go about a 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to cut a small little channel, and it's going to give me room for my wires to come out and route into the engineering section where we're going to be putting the nano and all of that stuff. So I need a little bit of room to be able to work with. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to go ahead and put on, I've decided to change up the color scheme a little bit. Whereas when I just went with the light blue, or the blue-gray here as my color choice in there, I've kind of changed my mind on that front. We're going to go dark on the bottom rows, and then we're going to go ahead and do the light blue, and then we're going to do the light blue on the blue-gray on the sides here. So then after we get that done, we're going to go ahead and throw the base coat on, and from there we're going to go ahead and flip our pieces over basically, and I'm going to get my wires routed up to be ready to light up the nacelles. So I'm not going to be doing too heavy of a light on this one, and we'll see as we go along as I get more comfortable. I've gotten everything that I need. I've got fiber optics. I've got the whole shebang. So we'll see, but I am a very novice electrical engineer, we're going to say. And I've got a bench power supply, and I've got all the things that I need, but it's one of those things where, like, this is the first time. So, this could be very rudimentary. This could be very, let's just say that I'm about to do something and I'm going on a limb here, but I think I'm ready for that. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and cut our channel. We're going to go and get our 2 colors on here, and then we're going to get our base coat on, and then we're going to get our wires routed. So, let's go ahead and start by taping off and getting our area marked off for our channel. So, let's go ahead and set this off to the side. And I'm going to grab my ruler here, and I think, so this is going to be the bottom, so we're basically just going to go the same length up each side. And I am going to as weird as it is, use millimeters because I pre-measured this and it's exactly 4 millimeters across. And so I don't think it's, I didn't check, but I don't think it's an even measurement across here. It's like, yeah, no, this is exactly 4 millimeters, and this is why, this is why I'm going to be doing this. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to run at the 4 meters, so that's going to be, or 4 centimeters, excuse me. I'm going to run at the 1.5 to 2.5. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Sharpie here. And with my fine point Sharpie, I'm going to go ahead and make a mark right here. Oop. And a mark right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure in. I think we're going to go 1.5 millimeters. So I'll make a mark right here. And then we're going to come straight down. Mark from here. Make sure our straight edge is lined up. A little farther, that's fine. Then do the same thing right here. Make sure our straight edge is straight. There we are. And we're just going to come through here. And I think I'm going to use the actual ruler lines on my board here to make sure I'm straight. There we are. Alright, so there's our cut pattern for there. I'm going to go ahead and match this up on the other side, and we will be right back. Alright, so now I got both of my lines marked off, and now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab some of my tape, and I'm going to use the 10 millimeter Tamiya. And what I'm going to do, and I've seen this done, I'm just out here doing things, but this is what I feel should be done. I've seen this done in other applications. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to tape along this line. It's going to be my guideline, and I believe that this is also going to help with any sort of like splintering that might happen. And we're going to be using the Dremel to, and I'm only going to be taping on the inside. I am not going to be doing this on the outside of the, because I just obviously scored the surface there. But this, I believe, is supposed to help like protect, you know, against any sort of like, how do you call it? Like, you know, splintering and what have you. Yeah, I'm just out here doing things. Thinking I knowing what I'm doing. All right. So, that's all taped off here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, and we will be right back. All right, there are all of our pieces taped off. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is, the realization has actually set in real quick, that I should have a proper surface to be doing this over, and I just gave a kind of a think through on what I should do here. And in the future, I'm going to go find a piece of wood somewhere and just use that as my cutting surface for my Dremel. But that being said, for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and fold a piece of cardboard over a few times, and then we'll come back, and basically what will happen is I'm going to do that as the base to, you know, use my Dremel to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cardboard folded, and I'm going to get my Dremel ready, and we will be right back. All right, we're back, and I have my little piece of cardboard here. I just took like 3 pieces of cardboard. Actually, what's funny, it's for the box for this thing that I picked up. Really good deal, by the way. It's only like a $50 Dremel tool that I got on sale for like 21 bucks. I'll see if it's still on sale right now, and I'll throw the link down in the description if it is. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing this for the very first time, and I'm taking a risk with this model. By cutting into it, but I've done my research and I've watched enough of this to kind of know what's going on. So I'm going to start by reminding you, when any time that you're doing this, make sure that you have secured your blade in place and you're sure of yourself that it is done. And 2, wear safety goggles and whatever safety equipment that you feel. For me, I'm going to be wearing safety goggles. I don't want to have anything hit me in the eye. I have actually had some eye injuries before. I've had flash burn once, and I have actually had a towel whip me in the eye, of all freaking things. And eye injuries are some of the worst things to deal with. So I'm going to be putting on my safety goggles right now, and let's take a risk with this model. So it's likely I'm going to turn down the volume real quick. You're going to hear this, though, and we'll be going. I'm not going to be doing like complete silence like we're painting. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, turn down the volume real quick, and let's take a risk with this model, shall we? Okay, let's see how this turned out. Let's not do that. Let's do a little of this. Shouldn't have done that on the other piece. Well, kind of have to, don't I? It's fine. There we go. Alright, I have to say, 1, safety goggles helped. I got hit in the face a couple times, and it definitely would have gone right into the eye, for sure. And 2, the new Dremel works. And 3, I was right about using the tape as the guideline. That really helped me see what I was doing there. And so now, let's go ahead and get this part all set off to the side here. Get our Dremel all set off to the side. Beautiful. First time I used the Dremel. Had to cut there because I had to figure out actually how to tighten it down. After my little warning, it wasn't actually tight enough. Because of course it was. So now, let's go ahead and pull our tape. And what we're going to do real quick before we start painting is I'm going to go ahead and get these sanded up. Obviously this is internal, but you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I want to have a nice clean and goodness me, this thing is in the way. I want to have nice clean edges. I don't want to be having any issues where, you know, there's burrs or what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this up real quick, and I will be right back. Alright, we got our parts all sanded up, and one of the cool new things that I've added is, thanks to Ian, Pitstain Hobbies, he hooked me up with a airbrush compressor because he's a cool dude, and I went ahead and picked up an air gun so I can do things like this. Oh yes. Blow off my pieces, get a little bit of that compressor sound into my videos. I'm super pleased with that. terrible sound, but yes, I actually picked, like, I was thinking about, like, you know, if I had a compressor, what could I use it for specifically besides airbrushing? And I think that in this application, it's perfect. So, while I let the compressor set, I'll be right back. Alright, now that our parts are all cleaned up, ready to roll. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get into the booth, and when we're in there, I'm going to start with getting our dark gray put down, which is going to be the German gray, and we're going to go along the bottoms of each one of these ones. We're going to let that dry, and then you'll see me put the mask on while inside the booth, and then we're going to get our light blue, or gray blue, on there, and then we're going to mask that off inside the booth, and then we're going to go ahead and throw on our base coat, and then from there, we're going to be ready to go ahead and start routing some electronics and getting them, well, electronics, our wire harness, basically, our wiring for each one of the nacelles. We're going to come back and take care of that at the very end, after the paint and after we peel some tape. So, let's go ahead and get into the booth. You'll see the Aztek Dummy process actually happen a little bit, because I know the Defiant episodes were a little bit disappointed with losing of that footage. So, you're going to kind of see how that works here, and then from there, we'll come back and get our electronics put into place. Enjoy. Alright, after what took a little while, actually, it does take a while to do these paint jobs, just for the sake of letting the paint dry and do all that sort of stuff. But after a little bit, we finally got everything done and we're ready to go ahead and peel some tape. So, let's go ahead and grab some tweezers. And I have some silicone brushes here. I want to try to see if I can try to remove the tape without scratching it too much, because I wound up doing that on the Defiant a little bit, and we'll see. I'm gonna have to grab some sharper ones, however, than the ones I have here now. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with, I don't know, let's go start with this blue, and I could start here because we have a tab that's kind of lifted up. And very nice. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see what we can do about using some of these to try to lift up some of the tape. I think these brushes are a little softer than some of the silicone ones. I've gotten a tip for how to remove the tape without scratching. And they're like, use a silicone brush. And I'm like, sounds like a good idea, but I can't seem to get any purchase. So let's go ahead and see what we can do and just be very careful. Very good. Got much more comfortable with pulling this tape. Yeah, man. Pleased. Very nice. That blue turned out really, really well. Let's expose our German gray here. Very good. Yeah, man. Man, if I had only known about these Aztek dummies in the beginning. But what you don't know, you don't know. And the tips and tricks have paid off 100%, and I want to thank you guys for that. Yeah, that turned out really, really good there, guys. Let's go ahead and get the other side here real quick, and then I'll take care of this one off camera real quick, and we'll come back afterwards to talk about the job. So that one turned out okay. I saw that there was a little bit of flap up, the flap up. There was a little bit of a flap that was left after trying to re-stick it after trying to re-put it back on, and you know, things happen there. It's fine. Not going to worry about it. Very good. Very good. Awesome. All right, let's expose our gray blue here. Yeah, buddy. Oof, that was close. Man, I really love this effect. Very good. So yeah, that turned out really, really good. Oh, almost forgot about the ones on the side here. I was like, oh, all right, to move on. That also turned out really good. Oof. I see a little bit of a raised spot right here. There we go. Very good. And I see a little bit of a raised spot right there. There we go. All right, now that's ready to go. And that turned out really, really good, you guys. This was the exact effect that I was looking for before we had to restart. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off here real quick, and we will be right back. All right, guys, we're pulling out the last piece of tape here. Everything turned out okay on this side. A little bit of the Vallejo. That's all I'm going to say. The Vallejo. But this turned out also really, really good. So let's go ahead and carefully put our pieces together right now. I'm going to let the paint dry for a while before we start doing any more work. But and then the key is, obviously, when you're pulling tape, you want to pull the tape while it's still a little damp, okay? So, there we are. We have our inner, or top, and then the bottom. And I think the bottom turned out really, really well, you guys. This is a really, really, really... Man, this is exactly what I was looking for just about a month ago. So, I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for probably about a day or so. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to go ahead and lay some wiring in and get our piece sealed up and ready to go for the next phase. All right, we're back. Now, I have run one side of the wiring here first. And this is my first time wiring. And so before we seal anything up, I'm going to go ahead and go to some of the professionals I know that do lighting for models all the time, and I'm going to make sure that I have this right. But basically my thought is we have our ground wire, we have our cob strip LED power, which is going to be the what we use for the blue for the warp field coils, or the chiller grills, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the another power source that I have marked with a yellow end on both ends. And that's going to be for our Bussard collector. So I think that that's good. I have it temporarily taped down. If we're all good, what I'm going to go ahead and do is get this sealed down with either some super glue or something like that. One of my concerns right now is that even though the 22 gauge wire is pretty thin, it still feels a little thick, and so I'm going to explore getting some higher gauge wire, and then possibly replicating that again. So when we come back in the next episode, I'll show you what we've done, or at least, because the plan is I need to get this wired in, and then I need to get this sealed up. And now this does seal up, and we'll show you here at the very end, but it does have a gap on either side, and so that's why I'm thinking about the thinner wires. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to keep my wires flat and even, and I want to have them match up with the harness that we're going to be creating down here at the very end. I have some of my tape set off to the side, and I'm going to keep these nice and flat, and I'm going to go match my tape up right here. Just tape that down, and then we're going to move over this way. And I apologize if the lighting's a little weird today. It is one of those very rare, super sunny days here in Seattle, and I've had to do a bunch of, in the middle of spring, and I've had to do a bunch of light blocking on my window. Light blocking, in order to be able to record this morning. In the morning, the sun just hits my window, just hardcore. So I generally don't do any recording in the morning, but I need to get a bunch of stuff done today, so it's currently Easter Sunday. Some stuff to do, a bunch of recording to do today, and possibly a stream. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this around here, and then I'm going to I want to keep my wires flat as much like a ribbon as possible. I thought about picking up some ribbon cable, and I may in the future, but I had already picked up this wire, so I was like, you're fine. You're fine. So I'm just taping that to the side there on the inside of the pylon. Now what I'm going to do, grab a pair of my tweezers here, and I'm going to grab some of my yellow electrical tape. Oop, this one kind of popped out of the tape there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bundle these up on just on the outside here, just with a small little bit of tape. Now, I'm going to find my wire that I'm going to be designating with the yellow for the Bussard collectors. I'm going to find the end of that one. So let's go with this forward one, and we're going to trace that one back to right here. There we are. Now, we'll grab another piece of electrical tape here. And grab that one. Alright. So now, our wires put in place. Got everything coming out the back where we cut our notch in. Let's go ahead and slide the top of the pylon section over the top of our wires and see what we are working with. You know, there's some gaps, but they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. So we have our wires coming out from either side. I'm going to make sure to designate. I'm going to wrap each bundle at the very end here with a piece of colored electrical tape so I know which side is which. But I gotta say, I may not even need to think about getting a smaller gauge wire. I think we're going to be just fine. I'm just going to need to do some clever glue work with some putties. So, well, there we are. We got our paint down. We got our wires set for our lighting. We got to use the Aztek Dummy, and I got to show you how that whole process works. And so, yeah, I think it's been a pretty successful day today. Pretty cool, you guys. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things that you guys could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions, comments, tips, tricks, especially for lighting a model, please let me know down below. If you guys would like to support the channel, please like and subscribe if you already haven't done so. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember to always live long and prosper.